Hey there, this is Tony Porter, and we are back with a little bit more 4th Street baseball. We are in the bottom of the, no, we are in the bottom of the 4th inning. Yes, we are. Bottom of the 4th inning, and it's going to be Suzuki versus Noah Syndergaard. It's Suzuki, Brian Dozier, and Steven Strasberg. Now, Suzuki's 0 for 1. He grounded out in the 1st inning. Dozier's 0 for 1. He flied out in the 2nd inning, and then Strasberg struck out in that 2nd inning as well. So let's start this, and I'll show you how to play. Again, we're going to read the 2D10, really, the green and the white, and we're going to look at the match. We're facing a right-handed batter. That's real important in this game. All right, we got a 5-2. I don't know if you can see that. There it is, a 5-2. And a 5-2 versus a righty is going to fall in the versus pitcher range. So that's going to take us it's going to be kind of a matchup between the batter and the pitcher. He's a right-handed batter. Is he throwing a fastball or a breaking ball? Well, we rolled a 6, and that's going to be a fastball. Okay, 2 to 7 is a fastball. And then, so he's got a fastball, which is an 8. And we're going to subtract that from the 19, so that becomes an 11. Now we look at the D20, it's a 2. So this is going to be off Suzuki. So Suzuki wins the matchup. We're going to read off this column right here. We look at the 2, we add the 2 D6s, it's a 6, and it's going to be a 44, which is ball 4. So Noah Syndergaard allows Suzuki to get on base on a free pass. And here comes Brian Dozier. Dozier flied out. All right, we're doing the same thing. He's a righty, so we're going to be looking at this matchup line here, and that's going to give us the information that we need. So let's throw the dice. We're going to read the 2D10, starting with the green. It's a 39 versus a righty, and we see that that's going to fall within the 37 and 42 range, but a 39 is going to be a fly ball to center field. And in center field is Brandon Nimmo. This is where it becomes a matchup between the batter and the center fielder. See, that's what's unique about this game. Sometimes it's between the pitcher and the batter. Other times it's between the batter and the ballpark. And other times it's between the infielders or outfielders and the batter. And Nimmo in the outfield is a 4. And Dozier is going to hit a 15 against the outfield. So that's 4 minus 15. That's an 11. And Dozier wins the matchup. And here we go. So now we're going to read off this column right here, the outfield column on Dozier, and it's going to be a 3 and a 5, which is an 8. We're reading off this column, and an 8 is going to be a 70, but we got to add the fielder's position, and that was Nimmo, the center fielder, so that's an 8. You know, the left field is a 7, center field is an 8, and right field is a 9, so that becomes a 78, and the 78 is going to be a fly ball that Nimmo is going to get to, and that is 1 out. All right, seems like a lot, but really it's fairly intuitive once you've played it a few times. This is not a game that you're going to play the first time. You're going to start rolling away. You're going to have to, watch a video. You're going to have to, play an inning or two slowly. I played 1 or 2 innings, then I'd take a break, come back, maybe the next day, play another couple of innings, look at a video, take a look at the charts, and familiarize yourself a little bit with what's going on. All right, that's the best way to learn a game like this. Now, this is the basic version. Okay, so there's a little bit of going on, but this is good for guys that want a little bit more meat, right? They want a little bit more of something to bite into. And I don't know if I'd play a whole season with this, but I would play definitely I would enjoy maybe a series. All right, so it's Victor Robles, and he is a right-hander, so we're going to look again at this matchup column. There's 1 out and 1 on. And we're going to look at a 49 against a righty, a 40 now, here, wrong place, 49, and that's going to be a pitcher matchup. Against a righty, is it a fastball or a breaking ball? And the number says 12. I don't remember if 12 may be... It may be a fastball plus 2. 12, it is. Okay, you can memorize those. There's not a big difference in all the numbers. They're pretty close. So it's going to be a fastball against a righty. So it's an 8. We're going to subtract 8 from the batter versus the pitcher. So that becomes a 5. Let's see who wins. Will it be the batter? Will it be the pitcher? The D20 says 17. So that goes to 6 or more, of course it's a 5, so 6 or more would go to the pitcher, and it does go to the pitcher. So we're going to look at this fastball column right here, and a 12 is going to be a 64, and there's a runner on first, and the 64 is a hard hit ground ball to the second baseman, Cano. Cano flips to Rosario to Alonso, and that is going to be a 4-6-3 double play. And that is it. That retires the side, and we go to the top of the 5th inning. Oh, by the way, the Nats, if you watched our first video, the Nats got off, well, in the bottom of the 1st, the Mets were up 1-0, but then they hit 2 home runs. One of them was a 2-run shot, and they went up 3-1. But in the top of the 2nd inning, the Mets came right back. A Ramos single and McNeil double. That put runners on 2nd and 3rd. A fly ball to center field. They held Ramos, who really doesn't have the legs to score on that. But then up came J.D. Davis and drove one deep into the left center field seats, and that was a 3-run shot, and the Mets took a 4-3 lead, and that's where the score stands here in the top of the 5th inning. And it is the Mets 4 and the Nationals at National Park 3. All right, so it's going to be Syndergaard. No, it's going to be Syndergaard. No, it's going to be Strasberg versus Alonso. Let's do that. Let's get this into view. It's going to be the top of the order. It's going to be Brandon Nimmo, not Alonso. It's Brandon Nimmo, excuse me. All right, so here's the pitch, and we're going to play another half inning. And it's a 58. He's a lefty, so we're looking at on the left side. A 58 is going to be versus pitcher versus a lefty. And it's going to be a 7. He's only a +1. And that is not, it's going to be not a fastball. It's going to be a breaking ball, which is a 9. Versus a pitcher becomes 20 minus 9 is an 11. That's his number right there. That's the number you read. A right-handed pitcher versus pitcher. So that's an 11. We look at the D20. It's an 18. So the pitcher wins the matchup. Above that number, the pitcher, the batter wins it. Below the number, I didn't explain that right. If the number is higher than the matchup number, then the pitcher wins it. If the number is lower than the matchup number, then the batter wins it. This is higher than the matchup number. So versus a lefty, and we said it was a breaking ball, right? Yes. So it's going to be, we're going to look at the 4 plus the 3 is a 7 on the breaking ball, and a 7 is strike 3, and he strikes out Nimmo to start off the top of the 5th inning. Next batter is Pete Alonso. Like these cards, it looks like there's a lot on them, but once you figure out what it's all about, it becomes pretty quick to play. So don't let them intimidate you. The numbers can be a little bit small, but I have a lot of bright light, and I cleaned my glasses. I wiped them down. So here we go. So it's going to be a 56 against a righty. A 56. The matchup is going to go again. It's a pitcher matchup, and this time it's going to be a fastball. So we're going to look at versus pitcher. It's a 14 minus a 10 because it's a right-handed pitcher, and it's a pitcher matchup. 14 minus 10 is a 4, but it's a 17, so the pitcher wins it. And we look at the 3 and the 1. We add that. It's a 4, and that's going to be ball 4. So Alonso manages a base on balls, and he heads down to first base. Went out, went on. Here's Robbie Cano, one of my favorite players of all time. I know a lot of guys don't like to hear that. I take a lot of slack for that. All right, so let's do this again. It's a lefty, so we're looking on this side of the matchup. We're looking at the results of the D10. So it's a 77. That's going to be another pitcher matchup versus a lefty this time. Is it a fastball? Is it a breaking ball? It will be a breaking ball. So we'll look at the matchup. It's a 16 minus 9 is a 7, and we rolled a 6. So Cano wins the matchup. So we're looking off this pitcher column versus the pitcher, and it's going to be a 5 plus 8. So we're going right here to 8, and that's going to be a 55. And a 55 is a slow ground ball to the third baseman. This will allow Alonso to make it to second base. And now we go to, I got to show you the results chart is like the simplest results chart on planet Earth. You got to see it. This is the whole results chart. Take a look at this. That's it. That's the whole results chart. How cool is that? You know, you don't have to look in a book. You don't have to look at 27 pages. You don't have to look at page after page after page. one page gives you the result. You do have to go through the matchups. This is like a matchup game. It's the batter versus the pitcher, or the batter versus the infielder, or the batter versus the outfielder, or the batter versus the ballpark. The ballpark, every ballpark has a different chart, and it's real simple. If you watch video 1, you will see how easy it is to read this chart, which seems like daunting. It's not at all. It's super, super simple. So I love that. All right, let's move on here. So there's 2 outs, runner at second base, and it's Michael Conforto. He stuck his elbow out in yesterday's game in real MLB. All right, here's Steven Strasberg versus Michael Conforto. He's a lefty, so we're looking at this side of the matchup, and we rolled a 60. That's, again, is going to be a pitcher matchup. So versus a lefty this time, and we rolled a 4. That's going to be a fastball. So we look at him. It's a 17 versus right-handed pitcher. His pitcher rating is a 17, minus a 10 is a 7, but we got a 17 there. So the pitcher wins this matchup. Remember, higher than the matchup number, the pitcher wins it. Lower than the matchup number, the batter wins it. So then we're going to look at the 2d6, and it's a 3 and a 1, so that's a 4 against a lefty with a fastball. That's strike 3, and he gets Michael Conforto swinging to retire the side. No runs, no hits, 1 left, the walk. And that's about it. Don't want to really go much longer than that. As you can see, I played it pretty quick, so you can see that it moves fast. So all you got to do is play it. And the way I did it, this is my secret. I do it all the time, and it works. Start off with 1 game and take it inning by inning till you start getting the flow. You start understanding the cards. You start getting into the brain, the designer's brain. Now, there's a lot of good games out there. If you watch Kurt Berglund's stuff, he introduces a lot of good games, but some of those games did not attract me. I looked at a lot of them. He has about 10 different games on his channel. I looked at a bunch of them. This is one of the games that I tried and I watched a little bit of, and I said, hey, I like that. And let me try it, and let me try to learn it. And it was the right amount of complexity for me. I don't know, like I said, I think I said it earlier in the video, I don't know that I'd play a whole season with this set. I'm not sure. You never know. Never say never. But right now, I definitely play a series, which is what I'm doing. I'm playing a Washington Mets series from the end of March in 2019, the last real baseball season until this season. But there's so many changes to baseball now. God knows what's going to happen. But anyway, it's the bottom of the 5th. The Mets are still up 4-3. It's going to be Robles, Eaton, and Turner. So watch out for another inning of this game and see what happens. Maybe I'll do the last inning. Take care.